You've saved for years to build your dream backyard. Finally write the check, nearly $28,000, and wait for paradise to take shape. But instead, all you get is a patch of dead grass and a vanishing act. What the heck happened here? And could something like this happen to you? Well, apparently it has. I'm going to break down this story for you, and some others, so you don't get scammed out of your life savings. I'm the host. Let's get into it. All right, let's get into the details. Who are we talking about here? So back in 2022, a Florida couple wrote a big check for over $27,000 to a landscaping firm called Florida Landscape Living LLC. This company was owned by a guy named Ryan Jordan and his wife Amy. But don't worry, there are lots of characters in the story, so I'll make sure to keep track of them. Now, what did the Perfitos expect to get for their big payment? Well, a lot of fancy stuff. A fire table, granite stairs, porcelain tiles, you name it. Basically, they wanted to turn their boring old backyard into something really special. And Florida Landscape Living promised to make it happen with top-notch materials and expert craftsmanship. Plus, they even signed a contract promising to finish the job in just a few months. But fast forward to March 2025, and the backyard looks like this. Yep, you guessed it, a total disaster. The grass is dead, the plants are wilted, and there's a giant hole where the fire table was supposed to be. To make matters worse, Florida Landscape Living just stopped answering calls and emails. The couple tried to get their money back. The company kept coming up with excuses and making up fake reasons why they couldn't start the project. When the Perfectos finally got fed up and demanded a refund, the company hit them with an unexpected cancellation fee. Guess how much it was? Almost $22,000. Yeah, you heard that right. They were trying to charge the Perfectos almost as much to cancel the project as they had already paid for it. Now that's some serious chutzpah. As you might have expected, the story gets even weirder. After the Perfectos started asking questions about the company, they found out that Florida Landscape Living wasn't exactly what it seemed. For starters, the company's website looks super professional, but they couldn't find any contact information or reviews online. When they went to visit the company's office, they found out that it didn't actually exist. Not only that, but the Perfectos also uncovered a bunch of other companies that seemed to be connected to Florida Landscape Living. And here's where things get really crazy. The Perfectos hired a private investigator who discovered that all of these companies were linked to the same 5 people, including Ryan and Amy Jordan. And what's really shocking is that many of these businesses had been shut down due to complaints from customers who had been scammed out of their money. In fact, the investigator found signs that Florida Landscape Living might not have even had the proper licenses to operate in the first place. Now, this is where the story takes another wild twist. After the Perfectos filed a lawsuit against Florida Landscape Living, the company's attorney tried to dismiss it by saying that it was nothing but wild-eyed accusations. Can you believe it? According to the court records, the company claimed that the Perfectos had no proof that they ever did business together, and accused the couple of making up the whole thing. Talk about audacity. However, the Perfectos weren't about to give up. They had text messages, emails, and documents that proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that they had paid Florida Landscape Living, and that the company had agreed to do work on their house. The case is still going on, but the Perfectos are suing for over $180,000 in damages. They're alleging fraudulent misrepresentation and civil theft, which means they're claiming that Florida Landscape Living lied to them about being a legitimate business and stole their money. So let's step back from the drama and talk about what's really going on here. This isn't just a cautionary tale about doing business with shady companies. It's a symptom of a much bigger problem in the way that our economy works. One of the biggest issues here is that it's relatively easy to start a business in the United States, but there are very few barriers to entry for certain professions. Anyone can call themselves a contractor or landscaper without having to prove their skills or experience. And many of these fly-by-night businesses prey on homeowners who trust them to do a good job because they look legit. It's a classic example of the phrase caveat emptor, which means buyer beware. But let's be real. How many people actually go around checking if their contractor is licensed or insured, or if they have a history of scamming people? Most of us just want to hire someone and be done with it. We trust that the people we're hiring will do a good job and leave us alone after they're done. But the problem is that the government isn't doing enough to protect consumers from scammers. In Florida alone, contractor fraud reports have been on the rise since 2019, according to the Florida DBPR. Thousands of consumer complaints are filed each year against unlicensed or unethical operators. But many victims don't recover their losses, and most perpetrators walk away unscathed. In fact, the state of Florida allows companies to shut down and immediately reincorporate under a different name. So even if you figure out that a company is a scam, it's too late. They've already vanished into thin air, and you're left holding the bag. I know this might sound like a rant, and I promise I'm getting to my point. But until we fix the system, homeowners are going to keep falling victim to these scams. And it's not just Florida or landscaping companies. This happens everywhere and in every industry. How many times have you seen a company get sued for ripping off customers? Then you try to look them up online only to find that they've changed their name or moved to a new location. That's why it's important to be cautious when dealing with any business that asks for a large upfront payment. No matter how much pressure they put on you, never agree to pay a huge sum of money before the work is done. Always remember to research a company thoroughly before hiring them. Check their license, insurance, and reviews. Ask for references, and make sure they're reputable. Don't be afraid to ask questions about the project timeline and payment schedule. Consider using an escrow service to protect your money while the work is being done. It's also crucial to read any contract carefully before signing it. Pay attention to the terms and conditions, especially those related to cancellations and refunds. Be wary of contracts that seem too good to be true, and avoid companies that pressure you to sign on the dotted line without giving you time to think it over. These might seem like common sense, but how many of us rush through these steps in the heat of the moment? When you find a company that seems trustworthy and reliable, stick with them. Don't feel pressured to shop around just for the sake of it. If you're happy with the company, don't jeopardize your peace of mind by switching to someone else just to save a few bucks. Remember, a good reputation is hard to build and easy to lose, so don't risk it. If you suspect that a company is trying to scam you, trust your gut and walk away. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Don't let yourself fall victim to a scam just to save a bit of money. Your peace of mind and financial security are worth much more than that. This case is still ongoing, so there's a chance that the perfectos will get most of their money back. But that's not guaranteed. And even if they do, they'll have to wait years for it to happen. In the meantime, the Jordans are still running their landscaping business as usual, posting pictures of happy customers and inviting them to visit their showroom. And that's where the creepiness factor kicks in. When the investigators visited the address listed on the company's website, they found that it was a small residential house with a locked mailbox and no signage or indication that it was a business. Some of the projects on the company's website featured pools that looked suspiciously similar to the one at the Jordan's house, leading the perfectos to believe that Florida Landscape Living might have used photos of other people's properties to lure in unsuspecting customers. It's a common tactic that scammers use to make their business look more successful than it actually is. The Jordans didn't respond to requests for comment, but the mystery deepens. Their business is registered as a foreign entity in Florida, which means that its owners don't have to reveal their true identities. And when the investigators checked the company's online presence, they found that many of the positive reviews seemed fake, and that several social media accounts linked to the company had been created using stolen identities. It's a disturbing revelation that raises questions about the company's legitimacy and casts a long shadow of doubt over their operations. Despite all the red flags, the Jordans seem to be operating as usual, making customers money and promising them the world. We may never know what truly happened to the perfectos' money, or how many other people fell prey to the Jordans' schemes. But one thing is clear, this case is a wake-up call for all of us. Don't assume that a slick website and promises of luxury are a reliable indicator of a trustworthy business. Do your homework, trust your instincts, and protect yourself against financial fraud. Otherwise, you might end up with a pile of dirt where your dream backyard should be.